where it is needed in the case of training area also, it is needed to maintain a discipline of the hospital also, and also it is needed in the case of working areas where after the training, when the students are going to the field of as a staff nurses, they also need the guidelines, because after getting training, they had to continue the process, but the procedures, the scientific principles they have learned. So there should be a supervision at that time also.
Supervision is also called as a twofold process. Ms. Kohra, would you like to explain what do we mean by twofold process? Because I know Mrs. Syriac has been mentioning it, but how do we sum up it as a twofold process?
As supervision, we consider as twofold process. It's quality of performance and fulfillment of specific objectives. When we are expecting quality of service, we need to have constant support and assistance for the workers. That means the nursing personnel who are performing it. When constant support we are giving, along with the guidance, along with giving them the feedback, that makes lot of difference. Feedback giving is one thing what we supervisors need to remember for leading the group for the quality care.
So this is what, and when we talk about twofold process, as you have said and Mrs. Syriac also mentioned, it includes guiding process, which you very rightly said, that the guidance is to be given by the supervisor, and also supervising the work of the subordinates. So I think, as you all have said, I'll just sum up that supervision is where the supervisee is there and supervisor is there. So it is a two-way dynamic process in which the change keeps coming in how the nurse who is working is helping the patient to recover, because patient is a human being and is dynamic in his nature. It's not a static kind of a behavior which patient projects when patient is not well. Supervision is also exercised by the supervisor to fulfill the goals of the organization, because we should not forget that the organization is an important area and organization has specific goals, and that should always be kept in mind. As you said, that it is providing a quality care, quality of performance, and also the constant support which a supervisor gives in improving the performance and taking out best from the worker is very significant, very important. So this is why, as Mrs. Syriac mentioned, that supervision is a continuous process. It's a continuous process. What are we looking for from the continuous process?
Means the chief objective of supervision, that means it is a continuous process, and it is an relationship between the good nursing care, the good ward management and the good nursing education. That means the supervisor of a hospital is the one who is having the interpersonal relations with the subordinates. That is one thing, and it provides a very good high quality and optimum nursing care. If you are having for any area where there is no proper supervision, there we cannot be able to achieve the goal. The main goal is to give a good quality care and optimum nursing care for the patient who are coming to our hospitals, and when they are going out also they should give the evaluation when they are giving it that, well, this hospital, the staff nurses work is very excellent, they are very cooperative and the interpersonal relationship is very good, they are giving a very good excellent care. So that is the chief objective of supervision, one of the chief objective of supervision. And ensuring the best work performance, that is also, that means the subordinates to whom she is supervising, that means encouragement in teamwork. See, if the supervisor is the leader who is having a good knowledge and the leadership is there, then so for example in a male medical ward, if the supervisor in male medical ward is the good having a good leadership, she can maintain a very good I can say the care, nursing care, and we can say that comparatively, the people say that the ward sister who is there in the medical ward is very excellent, she is a very good leader, she knows how to do the supervision. So it gives an encouragement, teamwork for the subordinates also who is working under her, and she should have a good interpersonal relationship with the subordinates, so that it gives an opportunity for the subordinates also to show their skills. So the bridge have gap between the worker's personal goals and his organizational goal. That means they will also motivated. They will also get when they are doing the good works, it gives a motivation, and for the supervisor also to give a promotion like that. If I am doing a good work, if the supervisor is giving a very good evaluation repeatedly, in such cases it gives shows to others also to do the way in which they had to do it. And you can say keeping of the moral of the nursing staff, that is the supervisor should also know while keeping the interpersonal relationships. Sometimes, for example, the staff nurse may have their own personal problems also. If the supervisor is such a person who is having a very good interpersonal relationship with her, she can able to understand, he can also solve the problems. So that means the main aim of the supervisor, the subordinates, is the achievement of the goal of the organization. The organization or the administration is having a goal. That is the main goal of everybody. So it is starting from the administrator to the bottom level also. The main goal is the achievement of the organization goals. So they should be knowing all those things, and it will depend upon the supervisor. It is depend upon the capability of the supervisor, how they are leading these peoples. And we can able to say the systemic ways how they can do it in the training area. In training, in a direction, if the supervisor gives a good direction to the staff nurses in the morning when they are taking the over itself, if the supervisor has the knowledge of the patients by herself, she can give the direction. So these are the patients is divided for you, you should have a to do this work. If she knows the supervision properly or to give a direction for the staff nurses, they can do the work very well. It gives a motivation also. When the staff nurses are doing the good work, if you are giving a motivation, if you are giving a appreciation for the work which they had, it is really giving a motivation for the staff. They will have the temptation even for after 3 o'clock also, 3 p.m. even if the duty is finished. If you are giving a very good support for the staff nurses and be with them and interpersonal relationship and solving their problems, they will say, sister, I can stay back also even for 1 hour, 2 hours. So it gives a motivation. It gives a coordination for the staff, and it maintains a discipline. That is also very important. If the supervisor is not coming in time, for example, it is starting at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock, if the in charge is not coming and taking the over in proper way, it gives an opportunity for the subordinates. Okay, the in charge is not having that, the supervisor is not having that much interest, why we should show it. So that means the who or maybe the supervisor should maintain a discipline so that she can catch the people or she can maintain the discipline in that area also. So this, then another thing is the needed day-to-day challenges. That means the nurses, the supervisor should also know the, that means the techniques, the new techniques and the new findings and new equipments which are using. If she is not able to know what are the uses of that one and how to use it, and if the staff nurse is doing a mistake, in such cases she may not be able to correct. She should know the each and everything of that particular technique and what are the new instruments which is coming, what are the purposes of that. She also should know it. So need of supervision is also required to establish, to maintain and can say standard in nursing care. That is very important. By supervision we can able to maintain a very good standard nursing care. And the need of supervision is also demand or a coordination of the ward work by the requesting assistance of her assistants. For example, if there is no coordination is not there, if some of the problems is not able to solve in solution problems through group discussion, and the staff ward in charges can have a 2 minutes meeting in the morning while taking the over, so she can solve so many problems while giving over also. If the in charge is able to see if some of the works which is not done or some of the works which is not able to solve by a group discussion, there sometimes the staff nurses may have some of the ideas, or we can able to take it from that people also. So these are the need of supervision, how we can improve. The main thing is that it improve a good quality care for the patients.
I think you must have got an idea that what do you mean by objectives of supervision. As Mrs. Syriac described, the objectives are, ultimate objectives are that patient should get the quality patient care. And why there is a need? Because there are certain things for a nurse who is working in the hospital to meet her personal goal, to meet her organizational goal, so that she has to go through series of updating, series of disciplines, series of coordinating activities, so that the patient is provided good care when the patient leaves the hospital, is recovered completely, and also if recovered partially, is given the know-how of how to take care of himself or herself when she or he is at home. I think this is very important that the ward sisters, once you become supervisor, does not mean that now that I have worked so hard for so many years as a staff nurse, I can rest. I remember the days when the ward sister, the night ward sister, along with the night nurses, would give over to the morning ward sister along with the morning staff nurses. That is actually the procedure of taking over and giving over. When giving over was done by the night ward sister and night nurses together with the morning, they also knew what was lacking, what equipment was not there, what shortcomings were there, and they would say that ensure that there are enough sheets available because we have got 10 patients who are on catheters. We need to have more Foley's catheter. So in a way it was also giving a clue for morning nurses to see that adequate supplies are there at night also, so that we don't get into difficulty. Similarly, if some of the night nurses had some time, supervisor would tell them, why don't you boil the equipment and keep it ready for the morning nurses, because morning is going to be very heavy and it is going to be admission day. So that kind of a coordination would be there when you find that the over is given effectively by one supervisor to another supervisor. And I also remember one of the very good supervisors who made it nursing director I'm talking about, she made it a point that she comes early in the morning, though her duty started at 9 o'clock, but she would be there at 8:15 or 8 o'clock maximum. She said that I wanted to see my night nurses when they are going out, in case they had any difficulty. They knew as a nursing director I would be available at 8 o'clock, and then she said I could see the morning nurses coming on time, and she would leave at 4:35 o'clock to ensure that she meets her evening nurses. So all 3 shift nurses she could meet by adjusting this much of a time. Like she said that it gives a lot of silent motivation to the subordinates, that here is the leader, here is a supervisor who is ready to put in extra hours, though the organization may not demand it, but it is a profession, it is a job which is demanding, and that becomes a role model for the subordinates to take it. And I remember this example because this nurse is now retired, she must be 70 plus, but when I had seen her, I was really, impressed, though she was my student, but I was impressed that how as a nursing administrator, after going through the course of nursing administration, she was able to exercise those kind of things as a good supervisor. Well, that tells us what are some of the styles of supervision we should keep in mind. Ms. Kura, would you like to elaborate on this?
The styles of supervision varies, but in general we can say mainly there are 6 types of supervision. Task-centered supervision. In task-centered supervision we give more importance to the work and less importance to the person who is doing the work. The second type of leadership supervision is democratic type of supervision. In this, high concern is there for the workers and less concern is for the work what they are doing. The third type is laissez-faire style, that is the minimum concern for both, that is less concern for work and less concern for the person who is doing the work. The next one is rule-centered supervision. In this, more importance is given to abide by the rules, regulations and the ways in which the procedures are to be carried out, and at the same time importance is given to the supervisors and his subordinates subscribing resulting reduced series of routine actions of administration. The next one is manipulative supervisor, that is the style varies, protecting style of supervision. In this, the supervisor tries to protect the subordinates and guiding them wherever possible, and this is guided in the constant direction. And the last style is expert supervision. This is at present, it is the emerging style of supervision. The supervisor's knowledge and ability is considered. Everybody, no matter in what position the person works, expect a supervisor to be a person who is well aware about what is happening, what is to be done, and what is expected as an outcome of a particular thing what is done. The complexity and difficulty of a situation or of a job is considered by the supervisor. The nature of job which is giving a particular effect on the patient is also considered in this. The urgency and consistency of the task. When we say this, depending upon the situation, we do assess the person. A nurse may be very skilled in assisting for an emergency situation like resuscitating a patient, but another nurse may not be good at it. So depending upon the urgency and consistency, when we say the need of creativity and innovation for providing the best care is also possible. Along with this, the supervisor's skill and expertise in dealing with the situation is taking the supervisor a long way, because subordinates and the co-workers look to the supervisor with high expectations. There are times when we have to use some of this jointly. There are times when we use only task oriented or only democratic or only bureaucratic, but in general, when we say in nursing administration, situations are more like when we have to use more than one style of supervision at the same time.
I think this is very important, you have said it, that in nursing you just cannot think of having only one strategy, either the autocratic or benevolent. There has to be a combination of all, because we are dealing with the human beings, and we are also trying to meet the crisis situation, because maybe you have given sort of used a democratic approach, but suddenly you find that the things are going hayway when there is an emergency, and automatically you may have to shift to the autocratic kind of an approach. Now when you learn, a supervisor is a leader. When you learn about leadership in your other course, you will also come across the same terminology used, because a supervisor is a leader. She can be a middle level supervisor, or she can be a top management level leader. So that is why you will find there may be overlapping, but understand that the supervision, even the senior staff nurse who is supervising to the junior staff nurse, uses these kind of styles, and it can be one style, it can be combination of styles, but the styles are used to ensure that the work is done effectively. It is not something which is theoretical, but it is something which is to be practiced by each particular individual. And you will find, some of the staff nurses will say that ward sister is a real taskmaster, or that ward sister considers everything, don't worry about it, we'll try to manage her. It may be that you are able to manage her for some time, but she is not going to give in so easily to you. Maybe when she finds that the work is not going on effectively in the ward, maybe she goes back to the disciplined person or autocratic approaches used by her or him. So these are some of the things which you need to remember. And you are, if there is no ward sister in the ward a particular day, the senior most staff nurse is like a supervisor. Or if there is a junior staff nurse who has just joined, a next immediate nurse would be a supervisor. So supervision is an inbuilt kind of a process which we carry on as nursing personnel when we are looking after the patient. So coming to a designation of a supervisor, of course, is an added responsibility, and you take up all the responsibility more effectively. Ultimately, again, the objective is improvement of patient care. We haven't heard from any of the regional centers. I would like to know if any of the students are attending today's teleconference. Please let us know. Srinagar, you have always been very alert and attentive. Hasina, if you are there, kindly let us know if you are attending today's teleconference. Khana or any other center, Delhi, if they are attending teleconference, please let us know. Well, I think that means a supervisor needs to have certain abilities, certain qualities to become a supervisor, so that she or he has patience, yet a quality of assertiveness, and also a quality of listening to others, developing interpersonal relationship, and seeing that the performance of work is done very well. So what are some of the specific qualities, Mrs. Sidiak, you think the supervisor must have?
For exercising a very good effective supervision, the supervisor should have some certain qualities. So we can say the first thing that when any administrator is selecting a supervisor, they will see the energy. That means a supervisor should have both mental as well as the physical energy. If she is continuously doing after 1 hour or 2 hours, she will say, "Oh, I am so tired. Let me to go and sit for half an hour. Let me to go and sit for 10 minutes." That should not be. So that means it gives an impression for the subordinates also. Okay, she is taking. Let me also. It means she should be very energetic. She should not feel that tiredness. That means when she is involved in the work, her full mind should be in that process. Emotional maturity and stability is a very important thing for a supervisor. If she is not having that maturity, if they are not there, she may not be able to control. For example, if I am a supervisor, if I am not having the maturity, if any problem is coming to us, first I will get irritated, I will be getting anger to that particular person. Instead of solving that problem, again I am creating another problem for the person who is working under me. So I should be able to control myself. I should know how to deal with the problems. I should know what are the problem, what is the problem which is creating by that particular person. And knowledge of a human behavior is also very important. The person, if somebody is working under me, I should know the human behavior of that particular person. Without knowing that, we cannot able to do it. Then the objectivity means the problem should be objective and should not be based on any pressure. It should not be placed on any pressure. Even when the supervisor is there, she should know the objective of that one. That means she should not have any fear, under any pressure. She should not take any decision. She should have her own things and objectivity, and should be objective and should not be based on any pressure. Sometimes the pressure may be coming from outside for any of the sources, but she should not see into that. But she should have an objective how it to be done. And the personal motivation, that is very important. The supervisor should know how to motivate the subordinates. So motivation, if you are giving a motivation, for example, if the work to be done from a 4th class people, if you are giving a, that means whatever work he or he has done, if you are giving a very good impression for them, you have done a very good and you are a very good worker, that means it gives a motivation for that particular person. And that means this involves a creation of for the leader or to get the job done. That is very important. Sometimes if you are telling to the subordinates to do the work, they may say that, "No, I cannot able to do it." If the supervisor is a very efficient one, she knows how to motivate the particular person, how they can able to the work to be done from that particular area. And teaching ability is also one of the thing. If the supervisor is not having the basic knowledge about the things, especially for the patients which are admitted in the ward, she should know the diagnosis of that particular person. She knows what is that diseases, what are the medicines the patient is getting, what are the problems the patient is getting, how this has occurred. That means she should have, and if a student is posted in that particular ward, if a staff is posted in that particular ward, if the staff is coming and asking, "Ma'am, what is that diagnosis, what is that disease?" If she is not having the ability to know about that one, that means teaching ability is also one of the important quality which is needed for a good supervisor. Another thing is of the qualities of a supervisor. If you see the personal qualities, that is very important. Good personality, that is it gives a good impression for others also. When the ward in charge is coming, until remembering in my student life, there was one ward in charge, until remembering the name of that ward in charge, Sister Raju. When she is coming to the ward, we all will be very alert and we will be very respective way we will be seeing, and we are giving a very good value. Why? Because she knows the things and she was a good teacher for us, and even till remembering remembering one day the staff nurse who hasn't done the dusting. At that time, you had to do the dusting of the treatment room. She will come and see it. That means she knows the things and she knows how to do motivate the things. And good health, again the repetition is coming. She should have a very good health should be there. Intelligence is very important. And the sense of justice, that is very important. She should be considerative and truthful to the workers to whom she is supervising. Sense of justice. She should not hear that means the one staff nurse is coming and telling about the other staff nurses some of the whole thing. She should not believe it on that, but one thing she should understand that, she should observe it, she should supervise it. If she finds that she has done a mistake, call that particular person and do the justification for that and guide her. Qualities of courage, that is also very important. Confidence should be there. She should take a decision very firmly. She should not have telling the things to others. That means one staff nurse is coming and telling to the particular supervisor that I am facing such and such problem. She should not, it is very confidentially she has to, she should not give this message to any other person. And she should be devoted, dedicated and sincere person. And I had told you in the beginning also, she should have the maturity, and means emotional maturity is very important. Sometimes some crisis will be occurring in the ward. If she is not having the emotional maturity and adjustment and ability to take a firm decision at that time, it will be creating problems in the ward. She needs to have that honesty, ability, and she should be exhibited. That means again repetition, she should have motivation towards the job, to motivate by team working under her control. She should know how to motivate, and she should make a team, and she should discuss, and she should give the motivations that if you are doing like this, it will be better. If you do this way, it will be giving a better nursing care for the patient. We can improve this way. We can do this. And that means and the staff nurses also will have the mentality to cooperate with, and they will also share the ideas. Sometimes our ideas may not be the sufficient, but if you are having a very good interpersonal relationship with our subordinate, they will also say, ma'am, if you are doing this way, it will be more better. So that means that particular, she is also a supervisor, but she is having a very close interpersonal relationship with the subordinators, and she have a very good mind, and she loves that subordinators. So in that way, the motivation can be. So if I am having such an attitude, instead of listening to that, if I am getting angry and shouting at them, it is not the way. Listen to them. They may have some problems. They may have some problems which cannot be able to solve by them. That may be the reason it might have occurred. If they had done a wrong thing, it with full confidence and with a proper decision, we should guide that particular person. And she should be a good counselor and guidance. As I told you, the supervisor should be a very good counselor, and she should guide the people. Sometimes the weak staff nurses may be there. When we are posting in the ward staff nurses, we cannot be able to put in all wards the excellent staff nurses. Sometimes we will put one excellent staff with one weak staff nurses also. So it is the capability of a good supervisor. That means she can make the weak staff nurses also to a very good, excellent staff nurses. It is her ability. Instead of criticizing, you are very weak, you are not able to be work in medical ward or surgical ward, I am posting you in some other areas. Then what has happening is that their weakness is again growing only. We are not giving a support, we are not improving that particular candidate to improve. The weakness is in every person. It is a continuous, supervision is needed. It's a continuous process. Counseling should be a continuous process. Guidance is also, that means nobody is in the world who does not need guidance. Everybody needs guidance in some or the other way. If I am a supervisor, if I am in charge of particular school or something, I also need the guidance. I also sometimes need the counseling. So that means the supervisor should know where the need of the counseling is needed, and she should be through, that means with the professional technical knowledge. That's she should be professional. She should be having a thorough knowledge about the professional where she is working, and she should also have the technical knowledge. That means if she is not knowing, if a new ventilator has come, if she is not knowing the technical knowledge of that particular ventilator, she may not be able to guide, she may not be able to make the other staff nurses. If a staff nurses is coming and asking, ma'am, how can you able to start with this one? If she is not having a thorough knowledge, she should have the professional and technical knowledge. So these are the qualities which is to be needed for a good supervisor.
I think this is a very simple way and excellent way for you to understand that what are some of of the essential qualities, because once getting a tag of supervisor does not mean that you don't need to keep your knowledge updated, you don't need to review your skills, because there are now, earlier you could do away without doing certain things, but now all are looking upon you to learn more from you. So that is why you need to really keep on updating your technical and professional skills. You also need to develop more of interpersonal skills, and see that your attitude which you are having towards the patient care, towards the team members, towards your subordinates, towards your senior person is being looked upon by all those who are being supervised. So you have to remember this aspect, that as a professional nurse, the maturity which comes more afterwards needs to be taken care of. So with this, I think if we go to the principle of supervision, we can just quickly sum up some of the principles of supervision, Ms. Kaura.
The principles of supervision, there is little difference between supervising a student and supervising a staff. A student supervision is basically for knowledge increasing and developing her skills in practical. Whereas when we supervise a staff, it is basically for giving the quality care to the patient. When the supervisors are good, they develop their clinical area the best learning place. Many of the things what in nursing we learn from the clinic, most of the things we learn from the clinical area, and that is possible only when the supervisors are taking keen interest. Supervision need to be planned. That is, if the supervisor is in charge of a whole floor, she should not be remaining in one ward for hours, and she should not be giving few seconds or few minutes to the other ward. She needs to plan it in such a way so that the critical areas will be getting more attention, and other areas where less emergencies, less problems arises needs less time.
Thank you, Ms. Kaura. As the time is running short, probably we will stop it over here. But just to sum up, we have discussed today about concept and scope of supervision, the definitions, various definition of supervision. We also discussed about what could be the objectives, the general aim and the objective of supervision, and why there is need of supervision. Ms. Kaura did mention about the styles of supervision, and very quickly and nicely, comprehensively summed up was about the effective supervision and the qualities of good supervisor by Mrs. Syriac, and it did specify that we need to have the skill knowledge, that is technical knowledge, and also we need to have the acquired certain qualities acquired, but certain are required, like attitudinal skills, to have the effective quality of supervision. We will be discussing principle of supervision some other time, but this gives you an overview of what is supervision and what is your role as a nurse supervisor to see that the patients get effective care. Thank you very much, both of you, for being with us today. Thank you so much. We will have break for 15 minutes and kindly come back at 1 o'clock for the next session.